All right, elixir shots.
One thing I really, really strongly believe in, the presence of a woman in a man's life is a blessing. And when he fumbles a really good woman and God takes her away from him, that's his most painful lesson.
All right, we're already starting. What I love about the way girls communicate is that there's always a third party to whisk away any level of responsibility. In this case, of course, it's God. It's not direct action, it's not cause and effect, it's simply just God. The main reason this is so hard to deal with is because the concept of God is so deeply ingrained into society that it can be used at any moment to dispel anything we like or don't like. So, for that reason, I really dislike when they do this, but let's see which direction she takes this in.
The amount of times I've seen a man be blessed with a woman, with God bringing this beautiful angel woman into their lives.
I mean, let's be honest. What does this even mean? These days, of course, every woman is beautiful and blessing a man with her presence. It's all about propping up the value of the woman and decreasing the value of the man. All of it's subjective in nature. It doesn't really have any basis. So when girls talk about this, they're always biased towards the female position. Now, I have no problem obviously admitting that my position tends to bias the male position. The main difference, of course, is I'm trying to take an objective stance. So even if a man made a mistake, I'm not afraid to admit it. The problem, of course, with her implication is that now every guy obviously gets blessed and he somehow always manages to fumble. I guess me, along with millions of other men, are tired of hearing this constant narrative about how women can do no wrong. I have no problem with girls making mistakes. It's okay. Girls are humans, they're allowed to make mistakes. I just hate this constant narrative that the guy is always wrong and always the reason the relationship didn't work out. You either have equality the way you want it and you have equal responsibility, or you let the man have the responsibility and you have no authority. The problem is this, of course. You want to have your cake and eat it too. You want all of the authority and none of the responsibility. That just doesn't make sense. Let's keep going.
To help them level up and become better. And he completely wastes the opportunity, drags her through the mud, and then finally, for whatever reason, the relationship ends. What almost every time happens afterwards is she comes out of it, she's in excruciating pain, but she moves on, she heals from it, and literally becomes even more of an angel and even more leveled up. Like, have you ever seen a woman go through a breakup and not level up? No, that doesn't exist.
I mean, this girl is blatantly delusional. More often than not, this is exactly what I see. There's exceptions, of course, because cream always rises to the top. If a truly good quality woman goes through a breakup, she won't have a hard time finding a guy of equal or greater value. I don't know what this girl is seeing, but the majority of the cases that I see, the girl fumbles the bag, ends up trying to do better, fails miserably, and ends up unhappy. To be honest, I don't think this girl even has this opinion. She's probably just pandering to girl bosses because it gets her views.
Argue breakups are like some of the best things that can happen to a woman because she will be the most evolved version of herself when she comes out of it. But
I mean, honestly, we must live in entirely different realities. Her logic must be that the girl is now more empowered and more able to be independent. If that is considered your metrics of evolution or success, then fair enough. Every time a girl goes through a breakup, she's less likely to want to attach herself to a guy out of fear that she won't have the exact security the way that she envisions it. I'm not saying there aren't guys out there that are complete menaces that take advantage and stuff. Obviously, it exists. What I am saying, though, is being more independent and having an easier time detaching doesn't necessarily make you happier or more evolved. It just means you're living in a permanent state of fear because of past mistakes or past misjudgments, however you want to word it. Sure, that may benefit the woman individually momentarily, but it does not benefit the relationship. When a girl doesn't feel submissive to her man, eventually the relationship runs into problems.
A man? God, I've seen breakups destroy a man. I've seen men losing the best woman absolutely destroy him, where his life does not get better. God no longer brings him blessings into his life because he didn't earn it. He fumbled the blessing God sent him, and God's not going to send another one. Not till you grow, not till you learn. And a lot of the times, they take a really long time to do that. And so
she's got this all flipped backwards. A man shouldn't need a woman to be content. If he's depending on this woman to push him and try to make him more successful, he's not really a man. This is no different than your mommy forcing you to do things that you don't want to do, even though they benefit you. You are not a man if this is what you require. From the very start, of course, I could already tell that this relationship was bullshit. These are most likely girls that are taking on projects because they feel a sense of control. This, of course, is due to modern conditioning. They lose the guy that they know deep down is lower value than they are. They come out of the relationship with minimal pain and suffering because the truth is, they didn't really like him that way in the first place. At this point, all they've managed to do essentially is just confirm what they already thought going into the relationship. I don't need a man. If you feel that way, fair enough, but a lot of guys aren't buying into it anymore.
you see so many men have their quality of life go down for a really long time. I've seen men be at rock bottom for years because they fumbled this angel that came into their lives. And I think that's a really great lesson for men and women. When
I don't buy this notion that these women are so-called angels coming into a man's life to bless him. No woman wants to be a mother to her man. The main issue, of course, is that so many women do this because they care more about control than their attraction level. This is partly due to the masculinization of women over the past 100 years. They've been conditioned to only date men that they can control. When it comes to sex, of course, that's a whole different topic and we don't talk about that. Let's keep going.
You fumble a blessing that was sent to you, God's not going to send you another one for a while. Why would he?
Okay, so I'm going to address this in its totality right now because I am so tired of women playing holier than thou and pretending like they know what God wants. Listen, lady, there have been people that have dedicated their entire lives to God, and they won't sit there and arrogantly pretend like they know what God wants or doesn't want. They can reference the text and make an argument for it, but you're just sitting there pretending like you know what God wants or doesn't want. How are you managing to rationalize your understanding of what God is or isn't? This is the definition of evil self-empowerment. If I look at your private life, I can guarantee you I will find tons of examples of where you don't follow the moral code to a T. Yet you're sitting there on top of your throne pretending to know what God wants or doesn't want. I'm just going to say it bluntly. This is blatantly evil. Whenever a girl, or any person for that matter, empowers themselves to the point where they pretend to know what God wants or doesn't want, avoid them like the plague. These people are dangerous. They can rationalize whatever they want and pretend that they know what the ultimate good or bad is. You can say all you want about how you don't agree with his actions, how he did X, Y, and Z, but please spare me the holier than thou bullshit acting like you're some sort of moral arbiter. Even popes and nuns aren't supposed to engage in this type of behavior, so who gave you the right to do so? This type of behavior is becoming way too trendy now, and I just had to address it. Never trust people that make moral judgments if they themselves aren't adhering to those exact same moral standards. I see it way too often now where girls use morality so loosely as a means to attack men, but they themselves do not follow that exact same morality, and I'm getting tired of it. Let's move on.
Imagine you were a parent, you got your child a brand new toy that was really expensive because you wanted to reward them, and they break it like the first day that they get it. You're not getting them another one. You're going to have them learn their lesson to appreciate and take care of the things that are given to them.
It's not your job to mother a man. I don't know why I have to keep saying this over and over again. If you're with that guy and you have the need to mother him, you are with the wrong guy. You trying to teach him a lesson is only going to conflict with his masculinity. By that point, the relationship's already deep in trouble.
See the same with men and women and fumbling something really good for you.
I'm glad this girl's found a way to rationalize that she's the center of the universe and that she knows what's good or bad for everybody. As is true with most of these opinions, there's a fundamental flaw in the logic. Of course, good luck convincing her of that. All she's going to do is continue to rage bait those who are already weak. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Don't forget to check the links in the description below.